now it's time to do all the other bits. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some tracing. So we're going to trace over again. You can see the video on YouTube which shows how to use a window to do the tracing if you don't have tracing paper. Cool, okay, so off we go. Okay, so now we've traced around it. Now we need to make sure that we know which is which. So I think that these are the eyes here, the little circles. So I think that's pretty obvious, but what we need to do is just write on what everything else is. So go around just copying the letters, inside each thing, just so when we cut them all out, we know which is which. Okay, J. And here is another important one of those score marks. Oh, missed off whiskers there. Is this dotted line here on the crown of the prawn. So we need to just make sure we've got that nicely drawn in accurately. Okay, so we've traced it all off. Time to do the reverse like we did before. Okay, so we've traced off both sides of the template from here. So we've traced this and we've done both sides. So it's time to transfer this onto the card. So here we have the cereal box again. Let's start transferring it. Okay, so we've traced the shapes onto the card. Now it's time to cut them out. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to have the word head written on the head. So this is where it's very important to have this sheet of paper to cross-reference what you're doing so you're straight. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to cut out the head. So you can see here the head is on the card here, so we'll cut this out first. I'm using a scalpel here to get me going because I have one, but you don't need to do that. So let's cut out the head. So at the moment, I feel like maybe because of all the tracing and stuff like that, there's quite a lot of pencil on here. So we might want to use a rubber to get that cleaned up. And also, what I'd like to cut out at this stage is the jaw, which is this shape here. That's the jaw there. It has the kind of teeth. So we'll find that on our traced card, which is here. So we're going to cut that out. Okay, and then we'll put our card to one side because we don't want to lose any of these pieces. We'll just keep it in one piece for now. And we'll cut out our jaw shape. Okay, so here we have, this is the body we've made. Here's my original prawn here. So this piece here is the head. That bit is this piece here. And the jaw goes right underneath. It's the kind of the mouth section there. Okay, first of all, let's get our card nice and clean. If it's got a bit grubby, or about any pencil marks. And also here, when you're rubbing out, if you are rubbing out this, be sure to rub in line with the teeth here so you don't accidentally rip off those. So let's get rid of our rubbing bits. Okay, so we have our jaw and we have the head. So the cereal box card has the same problem we had before with the sections on the body. It doesn't want to be curved around like this. So again, I'm going to use a pen to encourage it to curl around. If you're not using cereal box, you probably won't have this problem. I think it's just the way that the cereal boxes are printed and they just don't like to be curved around. So I'm using a pen just to encourage it before we start sticking, because the card is tough and it resists this part of the gluing is slightly more tricky. The head doesn't want to be stuck when it's this strong, when the card is this strong. So we're kind of encouraging it to curl around as much as possible. So you're creating a shape like that. Obviously, the cereal print is on the inside for this one. So we're curving it right around, making it nice and curved as possible. And then we're going to glue this onto here, like this. So what we need to do is get the jaw done first. So the same again, we need to curve the pen, use the pen to encourage it to curve around. Okay, so we have our card like that, we have the print on the inside, and then we need to bend these. So just use your nail, just bend these back a bit. That's it. So it looks like that. Hope that's clear. So you're bending these tabs back. And then these tabs are going to stick inside the prawn body, like that. So that's its jaw. So Let's get some glue on here. So get some glue on here. Be generous with the glue on this section. Okay, so we're going to put this into here. It's a bit fiddly. So you'll probably find that the card, you're pushing it in so that it's centralised to this area here, this seam that we've created, creating the body. We're pushing it in, inside, down the hole there. Push those against the inside of your body. And it will kind of affect your curve a little bit, so just keep adjusting your prawn body. You don't want that to shrink back in. It's like a concertina, isn't it? So you just want to make sure that stays out. And push the jaw nicely in, making sure that you're pushing down inside. There may be a little bit of a gap there in this bit here. That doesn't matter. That's absolutely fine. Because this is curved and this is teardrop shaped, so that's fine. Okay, so we've got our jaw in place there. You can see that I've stuck it in up to the point where we've cut the tabs. Okay, next the head, we're going to put spots of glue here and here. We take the head and we put it onto the body. And push like this. So you can see that I've glued it so it's evenly spaced across the seam here, and you can see the jawline. I hope you can see this. The jawline is in the middle. Now this bit is quite tricky. The head doesn't really enjoy being stuck on here. The card resists it quite a lot, so you may find you need to hold this for quite a long time. You can see here, here's the original, and here's the one we're making with the cereal box. Replicating this shape here, which hopefully you can see. That's the thing with paper, it has a life of its own. It wants to do what it wants to do, and this particular card, this cereal card, does not want to stick here, but it will if you have to tell it to. So you have to just make sure that you're holding it down for quite a long time. Give it a test. Still not ready. It has to dry, and that's why I think it's good to have the best glue possible. Some craft glue is designed to dry as quickly as possible, and that's ideal. And really, it's just so you don't have to hold this for ages. So here we are with our actual prawn and our model. So we just need to wait for this to dry. Okay, so that took quite a long time to dry, and it is a bit frustrating because you're sort of stood there for ages holding it down. But I hope it wasn't too annoying, because that is now the most difficult bits done. After this now, it's just all the fun bits. So yeah, it's just so important to make sure this is stuck down properly, and it does take a lot of patience, but this is how it should look now underneath. If it's slightly different, don't worry, it doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't need to be the same as this, but this is the general idea of how it should look. So next we're going to move on to, I think, the tail. Let's do the tail.